drop 'em. One hook and I'll rock 'em. One more and I'll stop 'em. Call the fighter, I'll lock 'em. Up 'em, up 'em. If he reach, then I'll pop 'em. Street sweeper, I'll wash 'em. Homicide, come and chalk 'em. Drop 'em, drop 'em. One hook and I'll rock 'em. One more and I'll stop 'em. Call the fighter, I'll lock 'em. Up 'em, up 'em.
Next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is what would a win mean for Anthony? Well, what would a win and what would a loss do to Anthony Joshua's legacy? So, although it's titled "What would a loss in Anthony Joshua's chances of being an all-time great?" Really, what we're asking is, what would a win do for Anthony Joshua's legacy, and what would a loss do to Anthony Joshua's legacy? And so I'm gonna turn that over to you, Conspiracy G. What would a win do? What would a loss do?
All right. Well, a win will actually put him back on track to undisputed. So obviously he needs that. But a loss, it depends. Now, I'm gonna be honest. He could lose to Usyk, right? And if Usyk does beat like Tyson Fury, it's like, you're not gonna be an all-time great, but you're still gonna be respected. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's almost similar to a Wilder situation. Wilder losing to Tyson Fury. If Tyson Fury beats the winner of Usyk AJ, you're not gonna be considered like the all-time great of this era, but you're gonna be up there. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like their careers are over. So AJ still has a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because let's just say AJ loses to Usyk, but then Usyk loses to Fury. And then AJ fights Fury and AJ beats Fury. He's back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just AJ just can't retire right now. That's all it is. AJ's still in the game, in the running. Even if he loses, he's still in the running because he's still one of the top guys. You know what I mean? Like it went from a 3-headed monster to possibly a 4-headed monster. Or maybe now Wilder's out of it. Who knows, right? But AJ is definitely one of the 3-headed monsters, right? So even if he loses to Usyk in the rematch, it doesn't mean it's over for AJ. It just means that particular fighter, Alexander Usyk, has his number. That's cool. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that AJ can't clean the clocks of everyone else, including guys who could beat Usyk. So he still has an opportunity, man. So I don't think it's over for AJ. It's just there's so much money invested in AJ. I think that's the danger of the situation. It's just there's so much money. DAZN's invested in this dude. Like there's a lot of stuff that's like there's a lot on this particular fight for Anthony Joshua. But outside of the political stuff, it doesn't mean his career is over. He could bounce back, just like Wilder could bounce back as well. So these guys, all they have to do is just stay active. Even if you lose to a Fury or to a Usyk, it doesn't matter. Just stay in the game and fight other top guys. Because who knows, when the rematch come around or what have you, you may win, and now you're back at it.
All right, Dollar Bill, what would a win do for Anthony Joshua's legacy? What would a loss do?
Win would put him right back there, where he just was. People, they don't remember the last time he was in it. So a good win and how he wins would put him right back as that guy. A loss would hurt him. A loss would definitely hurt him, but it wouldn't hurt his chances of being. See, when people, all-time greats it's all in which you perceive and how you feel about for a fighter, right? Like people can say, "Oh no, AJ is whack." AJ has his resume as far as a heavyweight goes. It's awesome. He's fought everybody. He's fought more top guys than some of these other guys that we're saying that are number one in these guys. He has more names, right? So why can't that stand for something? You're not going to win every fight. You're going to have a couple of L's on your record. And it's cool. Some of the greats got 5 and 6 losses. Like, we got to stop doing that crap. That's the reason why I rock with the UFC guys. Because it doesn't matter, the amount of losses you got. It's how you fought and what you gave the fans, and how the fans perceive, So all that is, I think that he still would do good. You gotta put respect on AJ's name and what he was able to do while he was boxing, while he's on top. Just because you lose to a great fighter, it doesn't have to take anything from you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you done accomplish things in this beautiful sport that we love so much. That's all I feel.
All right,
1,000% true.
TBE.
Man, this dude throwing up a prayer. He's praying to AJ's back.
He wants the job of rubbing oil on AJ's back. That's the job. Ned wants.
Come on.
He said, "Don't get me excited."
I'm
Like, we're
saying,
getting excited during the podcast.
AJ, if you lose to Usyk, you're not a bad fighter. You're not the worst fighter to ever live. You're not. You're any of those things. You accomplished so much in your career. You became unified. You accomplished things that a lot of fighters wish they could do. You're on the pedestal. You're like top 15. Like out of the history of boxing, the heavyweights.
If he loses, he's going to be top 15.
Top 15. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
He's still top 5.
accomplished a lot. Yo, hold on. Is Wilder top 15? G.
Wilder's top 5.
Shut him out. I don't want to hear it. No, Wilder's nowhere near what AJ has accomplished. It is up there.
When you say top 15, you mean like of all-time greats, or you mean like current ranking?
He don't know. He don't even know.
Top of his current ranking.
Top,
bro,
he would be higher than top 15,
5.
bro.
He'd still be top 5, bro.
Yeah, he's probably top 3 on most lists.
That's what I'm saying. Even with a second loss to Usyk, he's still up there, bro.
He's up there. That's
Second loss, yeah, he'll probably go top 5. Then, yeah.
But top 15.
I'm saying we had a lot of greats in heavyweight boxing, but you know, if AJ loses to Usyk, I'm just saying this is. I've been saying this for a long time. AJ wins, he loses. AJ loses, he loses. But I feel what I feel inside is that AJ is gonna come out and show out. It's at this moment, it's not the best time to show out, but you gotta do what you gotta do for your food on your table. And it's just so much going on. I'm conflicted with this fight, y'all. I don't want to talk on AJ losing, and I don't want to talk on AJ winning because I'm conflicted. Because I love Usyk, because Usyk, he did what he had to do. When I first heard Usyk come from cruiserweight to heavyweight, I was just like, gee, Ukrainian soup. This dude's food, yo. He don't got the power, he don't got the skill, he's not that. But it's boxing is more than just your size and your punching power. It's everything you do. It's about your IQ. It's about everything you do in the ring. It's so much that goes into it. And Usyk is very talented. And AJ is very talented because AJ started boxing at like 18 years old, and he's accomplished a lot in the sport. So, y'all got me. I don't want to speak on this subject, man.
You about to cry?
Huh?
You about to cry or something?
If I cry, so what? So what? I shed a tear, so what? Who's gonna stop me?
Tattoo tears, G. Tattoo tears, G.
Party, G.
Your mouth, G.
This party, G.
Everybody has to tune in. Like, this is a world-changing fight right here. This is
A world-changing fight.
It's about to fight. This is the history that's about to it's history right here. Like, it's like you're gonna remember this. Like, you remember. I never been there, but I used to see I like watching like boxing movies and things like that. You used to see them listen on the radio, like so and so won, and everybody's screaming. This is a fight that is like close to that type of experience, man. Like I can't speak on AJ. If AJ loses, this doesn't hurt him. He's just a part of history. If AJ wins, he made history. But if AJ goes undisputed, that's another subject for itself. But if Usyk wins, he made history. Like Usyk is individual in himself. You know, it's insane. Like I can't talk about it. It's like so much going on. Like there's so much going on. Like we're in those times where it's like, yeah, I'm done.
Yo, you know what, Ned? Yo, you gotta watch the fight with us. Because we gotta make sure you good, bro. I'm just saying, you sounding real spooky right now. I mean,
I don't want to speak on things that I'm not certain of. Like I can't be like,
we're not predictions like in this. Nobody's certain.
Yeah.
You just hurt.
You know, you're confident in your pick, but I'm not confident in none of this right now because I love both of these guys. No, I love these guys where they're greats. They're talented boxers. Like at 18 years old, you start boxing and you accomplish all of this on your resume, which any other boxer has accomplished. But these guys can sit here and talk the rubbish, the mess. They can say all of this and then not have anything to stand for them. Like 10, 20 years from now, we could be like, who was the heavyweight champion in 2020? Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Who was the cruiserweight champion, undisputed champion? Usyk. They built a path for them, but we're not gonna remember. I don't want to disrespect G, but we're not gonna remember Wilder.
You sound crazy. All right, watch your mouth, man. You sound crazy.
I don't remember Dillian
No,
White.
you yourself just cried in the previous segment, like, "Wilder, please come back. I miss hating on you." Watch your mouth.
I said that.
Bro,
I'm saying
that's the point. That's my point. We're gonna remember Wilder just like we're gonna remember
look back
AJ.
in history. You look like who was the guy then? Like, you know, we got, for instance, we got LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I can name names for days. Or you got in football, you got Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, all these guys. But when you look back, who held the torch? For instance, today's term of the day is the torch. Who held the torch and passed it on? Some of these guys didn't have the torch in this generation. But the guys who had the torch was Joshua, Fury, Usyk, Wilder. I'm going to say Wilder. It hurts to say.
Exactly. I know it hurts because you're a hater. But
Wilder had the torch because he got the belt. He got the belt.
Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz.
Using your example though, you said that having the belts is having the torch.
It's
Andy
the torch.
Ruiz.
It's like that significance. Like when I look back, who had the medals? Who had
Andy Ruiz had a significance. He's Mexican. He's the first heavyweight champion of Mexican descent.
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
you ain't a
that's
champ.
Well, we're talking about who people are going to remember. People are going to remember Andy Ruiz for that very reason.
Facts.
He's the first
That
heavyweight champion of Mexican descent.
He's not a fluke. He's part of
He's
history.
not a fluke.
He's not a fluke. I'm saying
Bro, he lost to Areola, bro. That's a fluke, bro. I'm not trying to.
Areola. Nobody's
beat
going to
Areola.
Areola.
No. He barely beat Areola. They
But he
gave
beat
him.
him. But he
They
beat him.
gave him that W, bro. We know that. We all watched it. We were like, I don't know. He might lose this one. Come on,
Yeah.
son. I actually felt for Areola because Areola put in work. Stop.
Areola lost. It was a definitive win for Andy Ruiz. Areola does that at the end of every
Respect
fight.
to Chris Areola and his trainer. You know what I'm saying? Jean Jacket Goosen. You know what I'm saying? Let's just show love, man. I'm just saying. And now you's a hater.
No, I'm not. What I'm
Wilder.
saying
Stop.
is,
Just like if I gotta respect AJ, you gotta respect Wilder. Let's just
I
keep it
do
real.
respect Wilder, and I miss Wilder. That's all I'm saying.
I know you miss
But
him.
what I'm saying is, this fight is a definitive moment in history. Like, we're gonna talk about this fight in years to come. Where it's like, this is a moment in history where this fight probably changed a lot of people's life in history. Where they thought thought to fight back, where they were like, they're in a moment where they can't like this is an inspirational moment.
What
Like,
you
if Usyk
talking
wins-
about? What? Bro, yo,
If Usyk wins,
it's not that
it's
special,
inspirational. It's like, I
man.
can't lose. I have to win. Like, you know, this I don't know. But
That makes sense for Usyk because of the Ukrainian war right now.
Yeah, and that inspires people.
Fans is rocking with AJ that hard like that.
That's an
Other than you,
inspirational moment. Like I can't lose, so I have to win. I have to win. I have to win. Like if AJ loses, they be like, "Yeah, AJ lost. Yeah, I lost." Like some people like, I love AJ. I rock with AJ. Blah blah blah. I lost. Like it's over. Like the fight's over. AJ lost. It's over. But Usyk wins. I have to win. I'm going all the way. Like as I'm betting on my tips. I put everything on the table, and the outcome may be astronomical for them. But I'm just saying, at this point, it's like this is a conflicting moment for me. Like it's just like I love AJ, I love Usyk.
You do realize we're not doing predictions right now, Nate.
No, it's not predictions.
For
next
predictions, security,
came
you
up.
should do it.
If AJ loses, a lot of people will be hurt.
You will be hurt. You will be hurt when you talking like you about to go into deep depression if your man AJ loses, bro. It's not that.
No,
serious.
if AJ loses, I will be hurt, but I won't be sad. I'll be like, you fall down.
I'll be hurt, but I'm not gonna be sad.
Yeah, come on. I get this out. If AJ loses, I'll be hurt. Like AJ lost already. Like I thought AJ was gonna go undefeated through his career. Like when I was young-minded, and I thought AJ would go undefeated through his career. But when AJ lost, I accepted it. I learned to accept it. Like anybody can lose, but AJ can bounce back. But lost to Usyk again would be like, yeah.
So what does that mean, man?
Yeah.
You know what? For the record, I blame Trill for this. All these segments we done deal with Ned and Ed's foolishness. Trill never be like, yo, Ned, relax, man. You know what I'm saying? So, Trill, this is your fault. You know what I mean?
No, it's not his fault. Because there's so much going on. It's like this is a big fight. And people don't understand how big this fight is. This is a big fight. This is like Tyson Holyfield. This is like Muhammad Ali.
Let Ned cook, Pete. Let Ned cook.
This is Muhammad Ali in the jungle, yo. Muhammad Ali in freaking Foreman in the jungle, yo. This is in the jungle.
Rumble in the jungle.
Yo, please tell me what Ned's cooking.
We in the jungle, yo. That's it.
No,
At least people could smell what The Rock was cooking, but what is Ned cooking?
We're in the jungle, yo.
We don't know yet. It's a mystery dish.
It's a mystery dish.
Mystery right here. This is a milestone in the books. We in the jungle. It's gonna be talked about for years.
This is for Eddie Hearn and Ned's sake. I hope AJ wins because these two gonna be on.
Now you starting to see the type of pressure that yo, Trill. Remember we was talking, and you were like, "Oh, it's for like the people of the Ukraine with Usyk," and I was like, "Yo, AJ's doing it for some people too." Now you see what I'm talking about. Listen, Ned and those people in the offices at the Zone, whose future, whose jobs, whose career, whose mortgage, whose ability to succeed professionally are all on AJ's back. They are going to be watching with vested interest in this fight. And I'm telling you right now, if AJ loses,
oh
man,
it's going to be the return of the Wild Edge, bro.
The Zone, yeah. Yo. To answer this question quickly, if he wins, it means that Anthony Joshua still has claim to be in the best of his era, because in the end, that's all you can be is the best of your era. If he wins, he still has a claim to be in the best of his era. Now you can say he lost to Andy Ruiz, but he avenged that loss. In losing to Andy Ruiz, I would point out that neither Deontay Wilder nor Tyson Fury has defeated Andy Ruiz. He has. So you can speculate that they would beat Andy Ruiz, but they haven't done it. So Anthony Joshua deserves credit for that because he took a fight against a threatening opponent, a dangerous opponent, and he won. So Alexander Usyk, another guy who people were writing off, looking at him like he was going to be an easy fight based on the fact that he was moving up from cruiserweight, didn't look good against Chaz Witherspoon, and didn't really look that great against Derek Ward Chisora, although we now know Chisora's been on somewhat of a resurgence, and he's been improving while others haven't been, staying up to par. So that win over Chisora looks better, especially since Chisora just, beat Pulev, and Tyson Fury was willing to fight Chisora for a trilogy. So apparently he doesn't think Chisora's washed up. So you got to give Usyk credit for that. Anthony Joshua fights Usyk and he loses. People didn't want to give him credit for fighting Usyk. People were ready to write Usyk off, but now people know how dangerous Usyk is. If he beats Usyk again, that's going to be another victory he has on his resume over another great fighter who's a gold medalist, who's undisputed at cruiserweight, champion at heavyweight. And then once again is a guy who neither Deontay Wilder nor Tyson Fury have defeated. So if he wins that fight, he stays on track for being the best of his era. And something tells me if Anthony Joshua wins, Tyson Fury is going to think long and hard about retiring, because you don't need gimmick fights when you're talking about Anthony Joshua. You fight Anthony Joshua, the money will come. Now, if he loses to Alexander Usyk, will that hurt his chances of being an all-time great heavyweight? I will say I do believe it will, because if he loses to Alexander Usyk and Usyk goes on to become undisputed, he won't be able to say he's the best of his era. And for you to have an argument that you're an all-time great, I think you have to be able to say you were the best of your era, or you arguably had to have been the best of your era, and he won't be that. There's no guarantee that even being the best of this era, they would consider you an all-time great. But at least for you to be in an all-time great discussion, you have to have been the best of your era. And I think a loss to Alexander Usyk will make that more difficult for Anthony Joshua, because he will no longer have immediate rematches to get his titles back. Usyk takes those titles and moves on. And now he starts from the bottom again. So go ahead.
Yeah. What if Usyk does beat him in the rematch, but Usyk loses to somebody that AJ has already defeated? Does that now give AJ that loophole to be arguably still the best of this era?
You gotta win again. He gotta win the rematch
back a third time.
All that is it's just opinionated, right? Because George Foreman lost to Muhammad Ali, and George Foreman at that time was considered to be that guy. He beat Frazier, but he lost to Ali, and we still look at. I just think it's. Because I was hard on AJ. I was very hard on AJ. But then, I gotta give Kaden his props. I had to sit back and really pay attention to what this young man was doing. He was knocking out everybody. He was beating everybody. The guys that people were scared to get in there with, he said, okay, I'll do it with less fights. Now, just because he gets in there with a guy that is super talented and we think is super special, like Alexander Usyk, I don't think that it should take anything from the young man, But I definitely agree with what y'all saying. I definitely understand what you're saying. I just feel like it's just because how Usyk is great, it shouldn't take anything away from the young man AJ.
I agree with you. The only thing I would say that separates your comparison to George Foreman was we're talking about a different era. In the George Foreman era, everyone fought everyone. So remember, Joe Frazier beat Muhammad Ali. George Foreman beat Joe Frazier. Then Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman. You see what I'm saying? And then of course there was the Thriller in Manila, the trilogy with Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, in which they had victories over each other. You dig what I'm saying? So like in this boxing era, it would be a lot easier to say that they're all-time greats if they would all just fight each other. But right now, what we have is, like I said, Andy Ruiz, who hasn't fought Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. We have Alexander Usyk, who hasn't fought Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. So it kind of takes away from, like you said, the ability to lose and still be considered all-time great, because the way they're doing it is like, I get the advantage and then that's it. AJ fortunately has had rematch clauses in his contract, so he gets to fight these guys twice. But you know, and I don't think Usyk necessarily is the guy who's going to avoid anyone. Like you said, I think Usyk is great. I think Usyk is willing to prove it. But if AJ loses to Usyk, where does he go next? Is he going to get Wilder? Because if he doesn't get Wilder, it's going to become difficult. Is he going to be able to get Fury? Fury saying he's retired. So that takes away from his ability to prove that he's still an all-time great. That's why I say it's going to be difficult for him if he loses to Usyk.
Oh, that's all right. Any comments? No.
Let's go on, Trill.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. This was a dope conversation. We are the Boxing Bros.